Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Chidi from the Ultimate Guide Group, your go-to guide for everything adulting. So make sure you like this video, comment down below, subscribe to our channel and stick around. So for those who may not know, I bought my property in April 2021 and I'm my first time property investor. In this video, we're going to be running you through how you can buy a property in your 20s. Bear in mind that 20s is a completely arbitrary deadline. You can buy a property whenever, but this is just a complete guide as to how it is you can buy your property. If you haven't yet watched our video, which goes through the process of having the 50k deposit up until you're able to shake those keys on the Instagram. I sound like my mum. But you may be thinking, how do you get there? How do you get to the 50k deposit? Like, what are the steps from the time that you decide I want to buy a property up until you get the 50k deposit and then you're able to shake your keys on the ground? We did a post on Instagram which went through this whole process, so make sure you go and follow us on Instagram and check out that post. But we'll be giving you all the steps and a bit more tea and information about how you get from step 1 all the way up until you having the deposit. Step 1, consider whether or not you are buying a residential property or an investment property. A residential property, for the most part, is a house that you are going to live in. An investment property is a house that you are looking to invest in and other individuals will be living in. Remember that they can be both, but in a specific period of time, it's likely that they're either going to be a residential property or an investment property. So for me, I bought my house in April 2021. As it stands right now, it will be a residential property. I am planning on living there with my sister. But when it comes to remortgaging the property, it will become an investment property. I will put it on a buy-to-let property and I'll look to buy some other properties that I can live in. Step 2, consider your affordability. Your affordability is in essence an assessment that a lender will do to work out how much they can afford to lend you as a borrower. There are a number of things that come into this assessment, thinking about your salary, your age, your other committed outgoings, your dependents. The lenders will then take in all of those different factors and work out how much they are comfortable lending you for the purchase of your property. 2 things that you really want to consider when it comes to assessing your affordability. Number 1, your deposit isn't everything. And number 2, make sure you're looking to maximize a higher salary. So let's go back to deposit not being everything. When I first started that I wanted to buy property in 2019, I was like, okay, cool. All I need to do is save £80,000 because I wanted to buy, at the time, don't want to do that now. At the time, wanted to buy an 800k house. Thankfully, I spoke to a financial advisor and they said that that probably wasn't the best idea. It was a significant investment for just me, but my deposit of 80k wasn't everything. You need to think about all the costs, and we'll go onto that a bit later, in buying an 800k property. I was also buying solo, and this is the point that I'm talking about when we discuss the deposit is not everything. If you have an 80k house, you have a delta, so a difference of £720,000 that you need to get from somewhere to buy an £800,000 house. If you haven't yet watched our salary journey video, you'll know that by around 2019, I was 26, 27, and I was earning 136k. Lenders, for the most part, are happy to lend to you 3 to 4 and a push 5 times your salary. So if we took a conservative amount and took my salary of 136k and times that by 4, there'll still be a delta, a difference for me to make up that 720k. And so that would either require me to have a bigger deposit so that they would lend me less, or for me to increase my salary, to change jobs and try and get a higher salary. And the second thing that I was talking about, you want to be able to really maximize your higher salary. So really do avoid changing jobs from a high salary to a lower salary, from an employed status to self-employed status, if you are in the process of getting a new job. So this might be the sign to apply for that promotion, apply for the new job. If you are looking seriously to buy a new property, you want to make sure that the affordability assessment is in your favor, which will require you to have a bigger salary, a bigger deposit to help through that process. We will actually be looking at different buying structures, so joint borrower, sole proprietor, using your parents as a guarantor, using remortgage money from your parents' house to help you get on the property ladder. If that's something that you want us to cover, please do comment down below and like this video so that we know that it's content that you want us to produce. On the committed outgoing point, you also want to have a serious think with yourself as to whether or not buy now, pay later schemes are actually worth it. They will look at those buy now, pay later schemes as committed outgoings. Even if it's just a £5 or a £10, they'll still consider it in your affordability calculation. Number 3, Find out where you want your property to be located. Remember that there are other cities and places in the world other than London, and the property cohort did a fantastic post of the various different cities that are out there if you wanted to move out of London or even if you wanted to invest out of London. Consider what is important to you if it's a residential property. Would you like to be close to schools, transport links, bars, restaurants? And if it is an investment property, consider who your ideal client is and answer those questions based on your ideal client. What your must-haves are and what your nice-to-haves are, and don't confuse the two. So for me, when I was buying my property, I wanted it to be semi-detached, close to transport links, and a 3-bedroom property at the very least. I would love it to have a drive, I would love it to have a big bathroom, and I would also love it to be in Chigwell, Loughton or Woodford. When I was going on viewings and actually looking at properties that were available, my nice to haves were the things I filtered on Zoopla or Rightmove and On the Market, and then the other nice to haves were the things that I considered when I was looking at whether or not I was to strike a property off of the list. The property that I have ticks all of the various different boxes in my must-haves, i.e. they were deal breakers for me, and the nice to haves, it ticks off one of them. Then the 5th tip that we would suggest you do is talk to a mortgage broker. We'll leave recommendations in the description box below of some of the mortgage brokers that we would consider are good and that you may want to consider when you are buying your property. This meeting should be a no obligation initial chat just to understand what is out there. You want to understand what is available and what you are eligible for. So start to get your ducks in a row now. In terms of your paperwork, so you want to get your passport, proof of address like a utility bill or a council tax bill, your latest 3 pay slip, any commitments that you have, loans, credit cards, finances. These will all be considered in terms of making sure that the bank knows who you are, and also in terms of the affordability calculation. Number 6, the fun part, start searching. You can now go on Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market and so many other property websites and start searching for your property. You want to use the must-have list to be able to filter down the results that you get, and then the nice-to-haves are just things that you kind of can tick off as you're walking and actually looking at the properties. Exclude retirement homes unless you are at retirement age. Exclude new builds unless you want to buy a new build and you're using like a government scheme and so you need to buy a new build. Check for shared ownership properties if you aren't looking for shared ownership as an option for you. As you're searching, you'll start to get a feel for the different properties that are out there. You'll start to get an idea about how much they cost, what will get you what in certain areas, and understand the market as a whole. And number 7, and our final tip, start saving. Use the properties that you have found to determine your budget. So if you found a number of properties in an area that you like and they're about 500k, then you want to be able to save at least a 10% deposit. If you can save more, fantastic, but think about a 10% deposit at minimum. You then want to save about 10 to 15% on top of that, so an additional 5,000 or 7,500 for any additional fees like stamp duty, and then you also want to save an additional 5%, so another 2,500 for furnishings. You'll need to have a sofa, you need to have a bed, you'll need to have kitchen appliances. You don't want to just get the keys, dangle them on Instagram, and then come home to a completely unfurnished house, flat, maisonette, whatever it is that you have bought. Work out how much you need to save and by when, and then work out the monthly amount for that. You want to divide that 60k by 3 years, which gives you 20k, and divide the 20k by 12, which will give you the monthly amount that you need to pay per month. As a general point, you just want to start to get your finances in order. We do have a budgeting template which we will leave in the description box below as to how it is that you can purchase it. We also provide budgeting consultations, and we've got loads of different reviews of individuals that have used those budgeting consultations and have really enjoyed them. As a cheeky reminder, please do make sure that you're avoiding high interest debt. Let us know in the comments down below where it is you're looking to buy, what the market is looking at, how long it will take you to buy if you are looking to buy a property, whether it will be investment or residential. Let us know all of that stuff down in the comments down below. And if there are any tips that we've missed out, also let us know in the comments down below. So guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel. That really helps us out and lets us know that you're actually interested in the content that we're producing. Share this with anybody who might find this helpful, and we look forward to seeing you all with your properties in the next couple of years. Right, bye guys.